searching.
I don't know if you'll find anything there, pal.
Not what I'm looking for.
Alright, day 3. Where are we starting?
We're gonna put the rear sway in. Alright, so we're going from this cast aluminum piece with a rubber bushing, be it the arm still has a bushing in it that it connects to, but we've eliminated one. Now this will be bolted to the bushing. Then we have a proper ball joint down here that's spherical. It will give us a much more direct feel and application of the sway bar. We'll come on like this. Now there is specific hardware that comes with it and a plate that goes underneath everything. Much like the front, we'll put the Zerk fitting in an easy to access position, which will be facing the front of the car. And we need that bushing to sit in the nipple. And then this will go through here on the top side, sandwiching it. Now this one is a little more tricky because of the location. So it may actually be easier to put the Zerk fitting rear facing on this side. So we will do that, and if we need to change it later down the road, we will. But I think that will be the best course of action to make it as simple for us with greasing as possible. Because getting the Zerk fitting back there is gonna be difficult. Looks good. We've got clearance and everything. We'll get our links set and attached. We won't tighten anything down until the vehicle's level, but after we get those hooked up, the springs can go back in and get all the suspension components back up, and then move on to the brakes.
When you wear your hat like that, it makes you look even more deranged.
I feel deranged when my hat's like this. Okay, so the one with the spike goes on top. I would wager. Yep.
He doesn't remember, he's just guessing.
Look at that, it even locks in place. God damn. Okay, so, yep, that's it. So it will rotate in and sit in the seat there. Cool. All right. Put this back in here. Now, I probably won't be able to get it to behave exactly how I want it to.
All right, one spring is in.
With this in place, we can get it back to its original location. And now our alignment parameters as far as the actual cam adjuster goes are back to where they were. You guys ready to monkey around with some brakes? So we're gonna have some fun here. We may be okay to compress these without retracting the e-brake. You should put it in service mode, but there's a couple ways to get around that. So we'll start by doing a simple compression. If we need to, we'll zap it back. But we'll get them both off so that we get everything out of the way, and do that last. That's a lip. Man, that thing has more of a lip.
Oh, nice.
I'm sailing away. Spark my memory. Some happy, some sad. I think of childhood friends and the dreams we had. We lived happily forever. So the story goes. Somehow we missed out on a pot of gold, but we'll try best that we can to carry on.
You feel better now?
Yep.
Alright, so we're putting Firehawk Indy 500s on the ZTFs. So we went up to 275s on these just because we were told that that's the meaty setup that fits well. So that's going to be sick looking. We also went from a 20-inch, which was the factory wheels. These are 19s. So yeah. Anthony's looking riveting today. What a guy. What a guy. All right, so brakes are almost done. Then we're gonna throw those wheels on. Gotta throw the exhaust back up. We're getting places. We're getting places.
We're not putting the exhaust back on.
Yeah, we are.
We're running mid-pipes, baby.
Open mid-pipes?
Fuck yeah, dog.
Oh, it's gonna sound so bad.
Weight reduction. We need that 10 right off the bat.
Yeah, without the turbo?
Yep. Weight reduction.
All right, so give me the spill.
All right, so brake pads came in. Coleman was out, and I impatiently installed them. Got the calipers on. I have the new lines on the calipers. We still have to hook them up to the chassis. And then we are just about finished up with the rear altogether. I've got to load the rear suspension so we can tighten everything up, and then we're gonna continue on with our process of performance. And we're gonna start with our new Wagner intercooler, which is big and should be very efficient.
You got it upside down.
It doesn't go together, just hit it like a caveman.
Yeah. It looks stupid, but it works. It's not stupid.
All right, now we get this fancy 034 brace that replaces the OEM one. I was noticing something really cool here. They actually machined the air lip into it. On the factory one, it's a plastic piece with a rubber flipper, and they put it as it should be, but it's all a nice piece of billet. All you could ever ask for. Look at that. So we've got our exhaust hung. We just have to tighten the hangers for the mid pipes, tighten the clamps, and then we're gonna be finished with the underside of the car for the most part, and we get to move on to performance. First step's gonna be getting that Wagner intercooler in, and we're gonna need to get the bumper off for that. So we'll be right back with the next step. This little tiny itty bitty tiny polka dot bikini is coming off, and we are gonna put on a big ass one piece that looks good on Big Mama.
And lucky, for us, this car has an actual front mount and not some stacked all-in-one unit like everything else we usually work on. Significantly bigger.
Pretty straightforward swap, and it's pretty much a direct swap too. So this goes in the same exact location as the little tiny bar intercooler that comes on this. And as you can tell, I mean, we'll show you side by side, but the capacity of this is worlds different. Not only that, but its ability to cool is going to be exponentiated by having so much more surface area for the air to pass, and it should make it so that we can do back-to-back pulls without really heat soaking the car. And that's even once we get the new turbo on and are pushing it hard. So should be a good piece.
Alright.
So this little Jimmy is the factory cooler, which really isn't that bad for as compact as it is. It looks quite efficient, but it's nothing compared to where we're going. This behemoth here, while not being as thick, makes up for its difference in sheer size. Also, the intakes being this large will really contribute to the overall volume of the unit. Now that the intercooler's in, we've got two big pieces of the puzzle left. Well, I've got a handful of puzzle pieces. Puzzles, pieces. So we've got a downpipe, we've got an intake, plugs, coils, and high pressure fuel pump internals. I don't know, I'll have to find out if we're doing the internals now or alongside the turbocharger. That is currently on back order. So we will cross that bridge last. However, we're gonna start with getting the downpipe out. That will open up a lot of stuff that will go hand in hand with the spark plugs and the intake. And ultimately, getting all this stuff out will streamline getting everything back together as efficiently as possible. Okay, heat shield one out of the way. So this is kind of a cool design because it's super compact, consolidated, and a big old cat. So we've got to get this disconnected from the mid pipes and our O2 sensor out and take it off of the turbocharger, which is this big beautiful thing here. And then we'll be able to slip the new one in. The new one should have a little bit better ergonomics as far as how it fits in and slipping in. Rather, this one may be a bit of a challenge to get out. I do foresee that we're gonna have to undo some of the work that we did before, but that shouldn't be a big deal either way. And this, compared to some of the other cars like the S4s, have a lot more room to work with. So I'm very thankful for that. It's gonna be a lot easier to get the nuts off of the mid pipes than it would be on some of the other models. So that's definitely a plus. Okay, so we gotta get that brace out.
Yeah. Downpipe is out. Look how dense that cat is compared to that. But we are done for the day, and then tomorrow we will continue and put the new downpipe in, do the intake, the spark plugs, coil packs, and whatever else we need to finish up to go stage 2. Plus, before we do any turbo stuff. So that's for tomorrow. All right, guys, it is Friday. We got the downpipe out yesterday afternoon, ran out of time. So now it is time to put the new one back in. And then we can put all the rest of the engine bay goods in as well.
Okay, so hopefully this will go in a little bit. No, we got the mid-pipe over there. We'll get that stud on and bring this down towards the turbo. And it should be made up easily with the turbo, like that. Now we can get our V-band placed.
It looks nice in there.
And it's not a bad idea. Put it back on the same way that it came out. Typically they are clocked so that they don't obstruct anything. And we want to make sure that that stays true and that it looks nice. So when we had this on before, this was down here and this was right about there because our bolt was pretty much vertical. Now we're just gonna snug this down a little bit and then we'll tighten it the rest of the way by hand. Go. So it's not going anywhere. It should be clocked exactly as we need it. And we'll get our mid-pipes connected. This thing go. Okay. OEM inlet pipe off. And show you the difference here. Big is good. We're gonna go ahead and put a ring in. And then we've got this gasket that sits on top. If it doesn't stay in there, use some dielectric grease and it'll help hold it in place. So we might need to. So as you see here, we've got the slot. And that will allow us to fall onto that and then rotate into place. So we are installing this adapter onto the throttle body. It replaces the OEM part. However, this has 1/8 NPT holes in it so that you can put a boost reference for a boost gauge, methanol kit, whatever may fit your fancy. But it looks like there's two ways that we can install this, and really it looks like one for a number of reasons. There is a little clip that holds onto this line on the OEM part, and that would go there. And then there's two locating pins on this. This will mount up with these pins out of place. They conveniently sit here and here, but it's not right. So in the matter of doing things the right way, we are going to put it on like this so that the 034 logo is facing up, and we have a boost tap available on the bottom and on the back side of the throttle body. Okay, 3 out. Ready to go.
All right, so Friday we left off working on the S5 at doing the coil packs and starting with the intake and all of that stuff. Ryan is messing with the high pressure fuel pump internal stuff right now.
Yeah, we're gonna get this dissected and put back together with the new piston and get it back in the car. And all I have left is the intake. We've got an oil filter housing to put in, and
little carbon
pretty much
bits.
done. Yeah. Back end of it. Oh, we get to put the wheels on.
And then we get, yeah. But yeah, good progress has been made. A lot has been done in the past few days. So yeah, these are just the kind of little final little bits. But as soon as we're done with all of this, we will get this car back to the dyno and see what it does.
We will put our pump ski in the vise. And use these flats. This thing is torqued to high hell on the bottom end, so I'm not worried about it being affected when we pull this piston assembly out. First step is to take her off.
Gotta love special tools. I said you gotta love special tools.
Okay. This is the 5th high pressure fuel pump tool I have. Different high pressure fuel pump. And I have one for this one. It's just a different design.
Yeah.
It's actually kind of cool, but. Of course.
It's torqued to high hell, huh?
It's supposed to be. Alright, so this what we're working with today. Let's go get to a more clean space. So we've got a number of replacement parts. We've got our piston and sleeve, and we've got our retainer and retainer clips. Now, like a lot of other high pressure fuel pumps out there, it changes the retainer design to a locking collar like this rather than a press fit like this. Now we've got to get this out of this press sleeve, so to do that we're going to remove our sleeve, and from here what we will do is put a 19mm socket on this end, and on this end we'll put a little bit driver that will fit there, or really any kind of punch tool, and we're going to press it out, and it should give us enough room to get that released. Now as we press this, we'll get to the base of the spring, and then this will begin to press. Now spring will release, so it's good to have that secured. We're going from this retainer, which is press fit, to something like this, which is much more like a valve retainer. Well, got it put back together. It was a bit more of a challenge than I was anticipating. Most of what I do is the MQB high pressure fuel pumps, and for the most part you can get those back together by hand. This one, not so much. It's got to be compressed quite a bit and just to the right level, because the keepers can fall down past the groove, and then if the piston's not dead center inside of the retainer, the keepers won't fall into place. So it takes a little bit of finagling, but once you get it, you got it, and everything is in there, good to go, lubricated, and should be ready to provide us some high pressure. Boys, everybody loves a big boy. Easier you go, me. Beautiful. That's my fucking T30, boy! Oh, I'm so happy. It's the tiny one too. It's not like the normal. It's a tiny itty bitty one.
Okay, so one thing we didn't address the other day when we were at the dyno because we didn't have the right cable is the Bluetooth flashing capability that 034 has available.
034 has added a pretty cool feature where you can flash from your phone. You still have the ability to flash from your laptop, and it's my personal preference just because of all of the past and time that I've spent flashing cars with laptops. It just is second nature to me. But for those of you who want a quick, easy solution, don't need to worry about getting your laptop out or having it hooked up to Wi-Fi or not connecting in your garage to your router. There's a lot of things that can complicate using a laptop to flash a car. For us, it's simple because we're in a shop, got Wi-Fi, everything works. So today we're going to go over the simple approach of using your mobile device. Once you have your 034 account created and the app downloaded, you'll get logged in, and we will do that here. Blur. Once you get logged in, it'll start scanning for your dynamic dongle. Ours is plugged into the car right now, got our ignition on, and we're hooked up to a battery tender. Always be hooked up to a battery tender. These flashes don't take long, but if anything happens with the car's battery, it will be well worth it to have a battery tender hooked up rather than having to recover an ECU. So on the landing page, we'll have a breakdown of the previous flashes for this car. We've got the stage 1 and ECU and TCU tune currently on the car. And I'll give you my true honest thing here. I haven't touched this app yet, so I don't know how it works entirely, but assuming I could probably click here. Nope, can't click there. So we'll go down here to flashing, and that will be where we'll have our engine and transmission options. We'll start with our engine flash. There is a alert. I don't know if I can click that. 3 DTCs found. Okay. And so if we go to diagnosis, we can probably scan for the codes that are present. Camshaft position actuator. And today, data buzzer, invalid data. Okay, we'll clear those. This was disconnected when we were working on the car. This could be a litany of things, and this, which I'm not concerned about. And this is probably from when we had our ABS sensors disconnected. Perfect. So we'll go back to flash, select our engine. Now we've got a downpipe on the car, an intercooler, we've got a high pressure fuel pump. So there's stage 2, but we want stage 2 plus. This will allow us to utilize the high pressure fuel pump. Calibration requires high pressure fuel pump. Perfect. And got it. Now it should allow us to select our fuel. I know he probably won't want it, but we're doing it. We're crackling. We're gonna do 2 different flashes. Today we'll start with the 93 and stage 2 transmission tune. But the plan, where's the fuel gauge on this car? There it is. We're at half a tank. So we'll plan on burning out the 93 and getting it probably close to a quarter tank when we get it to the dyno. Do some pulls on the dyno in 93, flash over to E85, fill it up with E85, and do our second set of data pulls so that we can give you some information on the 93 and the E85 stage 2 plus 2. So 93 has been selected and everything looks good here. Flash it. Now, since this car has already been flashed, it shouldn't take long at all for the update to flash. And I think the initial flash takes something like 6 minutes, but instead of 5 seconds, it's 10 seconds. Okay, ignition on. Okay. Perfect. So programming successful. Go take me home, and we'll go back to flashing, and we'll hit the transmission. Okay. Flashy. They've got different tunes based on fuel. So realistically, in a matter of 5 minutes, we flashed the ECU and TCU without so much as having to log into our laptop. Programming successful. So we are all done here, and we're ready to go have some fun. Actually, we're like ready to go get this thing aligned so that we can have some fun.
Yeah. Next time you see this car, it'll be back on the dyno. So we will see y'all in the next video.